This is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, teaching influencers and bloggers how to become successful entrepreneurs. This is episode 117 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, I am interviewing Melissa from Tailwind. This is a fabulous interview. I had interviewed her probably 2 years ago when I was first trying to really get a better handle on Tailwind. Thought I knew how to use it pretty well and found out I was missing out on tons of features. Well, today I found out the same exact thing. There are so many features of Tailwind that I wasn't aware of. You're going to hear my surprise in this actual interview. You'll also hear me talk about my membership site inside of this interview where I talk about mastering your influence. If you are not already a member of Mastering Your Influence, if you're looking for a place where you can get a ton of education on the latest trends, things that are working the absolute best, then you're going to want to check out Mastering Your Influence. We have over 130 trainings that you get immediate access to, as well as we do weekly live trainings, an expert monthly training, and a group question and answer where y'all just fire questions at me for 60 minutes. So if you're not a part of that yet, make sure that you click over and join in. All right, guys, let's dive in. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. I am so excited to have you on the podcast, to be able to dive into Tailwind. Will you actually introduce yourself, kind of tell us a little bit about Tailwind and your role there at the company?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I am the community manager here, which more or less just means that I'm here to make our members look really good and feel really good and make the most of their time, efforts, and energies with Tailwind. I've been with the company for going on 7 years, which is kind of crazy. And it's been an amazing ride to watch it grow from this itty bitty little company with only 50 members to this amazing company with more than 300,000 members all across the world, 35 amazing coworkers. It's been a pretty crazy ride, but I could not imagine working anywhere else or with anyone better. So it's a great company. I love working here.
Very good. Now, I have been with Tailwind now, I would probably want to say at least 5 years. How long has Tailwind been around for?
Since 2012.
Okay, so I was right in the beginning. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yes, no, absolutely. So we actually chatted, I want to say probably close to 2 years ago. You and I did an interview. We talked about, you showed me the lists and how you could drop in all these great lists, and it was so much easier to schedule. It saved me a ton of time. But I feel like a lot has improved on Tailwind since then. So I kind of wanted to really focus there. I wanted, if it's all right, to start with tribes, because I know a lot of people have questions about that. And then Smart Loop is definitely on my list of things to chat with you about.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We've really added a lot to the tool in the past, even in the past 6 months. And we're continually trying to add and improve things for our members. And it's completely based off of what members send in to us. So, if you have any ideas, please write in and let us know, because that's what we build our roadmap off of. And Tribes really sort of sprouted from that. We were talking to our members, finding out that they had these super complicated spreadsheets, or they were in crazy Facebook groups sharing links, trying to help each other grow and get that reciprocal relationship working with their pins. And so we said, how can we facilitate this? How can we make this easier for our members to do? And that's where Tribes came in. So it's just a really great way to find like-minded pinners and work together to grow and make the most of your content while getting amazing content from your friends and really encouraging that reciprocal relationship so that you're working together rather than against each other to grow and make the most of your Pinterest presence.
Yes. And I love the way that you said that people were using those crazy spreadsheets. The Facebook groups? Yep. Totally used to do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We just wanted to make it easier.
Yes. And I think though that that's a great thing about it is that you're able to have everything all in one place. You can go based on like searching for them has become so easy because for me personally, I had to recently start a new Pinterest account. So because of the focus of my business kind of shifted towards more of the teaching and the educating. Right. So finding those new tribes that we're talking about, specifically blogging or entrepreneurship, was just so much easier with the search feature. And then to be able to find pins that are quality. I think that was always the biggest struggle with the Facebook groups. And I have some listeners that probably still will be doing the Facebook groups. And I'm going to tell you, y'all need to stop. Try on Tailwind. It's much simpler because you're able to see everything there. You're not required to drop a link and then pin something that maybe isn't relevant or looks like crap and you know it's not going to do well. Right. So I love how easy that feature is. Is there a strategy that you see that works possibly well with tribes as far as how many tribes to join? How much content of others do you see is kind of like working the best?
So as far as how many tribes to join, as many as you can keep up with, and that as many as are working for you. So we have our tribes insights, which allows you to see, where people are pinning your pins from, how many repins you're getting, how many reshares, and not all tribes are created equal. You're not going to join a tribe and just automatically have a great relationship. But that doesn't mean that it's not a good tribe and it won't work for other people. So I think it's really important to pay attention to those statistics, those insights, and see which ones are working for you and which ones you should get out of. Because keeping up with 200 tribes would be incredibly hard, especially if they're not all working for you. So I don't think it's really a specific number that needs to, people need to pay attention to. It's more what's working for you. If it's not working for you, get out and join another one or make one. Create your own tribe and have those rules and the types of content that you want to see and invite other people to your tribe. And that's really where tribes grows and gets its huge benefit from, is from people creating tribes and inviting their friends and having those very specific, very niche quality tribes. So you can go in and know exactly what you're getting and exactly the kind of quality that you're going to expect. Because that's another thing. If you join a big tribe, you can't always, it's like Pinterest, you can't always know if it's going to be the pin that you want to share. So click through on those pins, make sure you know the people that you're pinning from and create those relationships. And, really pay attention to what works. Those analytics are so, so important. Yeah. And we try to make that easy for you.
No, absolutely. And I think that's how I chose my tribes, was looking at inside of Tailwind, the little graph that you give about how active it is and how well they do. So using that data is so important. So now when you're talking also about data, there's a question that I feel like always comes up is you have that virality score. What exactly does that measure? Like how do we use that? Like, what do we know? Should we be paying attention to with that?
So that's really for your own peace of mind. Just because a content has a small blue flame in the corner doesn't mean it's a bad piece of content, but you may want to click through and see what's going on that pin. Is it brand new? Maybe it doesn't link to the right page. There could be reasons that it hasn't taken off yet. And if it is a great pin, if it is a piece of content that you think your audience would enjoy, go ahead and pin it. Just because it has 2 shares doesn't mean it's not a good pin. However, the ones with a bunch of pins, that's content that Pinterest is seeing and saying, wow, people are really enjoying this pin. So that will help you and help the person who created that pin, because you're providing quality content to Pinterest that's already working. So while the blue flame can help you understand what is doing well already, don't be afraid of those ones that don't have a lot of virality yet.
Whether you're a seasoned podcaster or just thinking of starting a podcast, you need to listen to Buzzcast from the folks at Buzzsprout. Here we go! Buzzcast covers everything a podcaster should know, from marketing strategies and how to make money from your podcast to the latest and greatest tech and industry insights to keep you on the cutting edge. Follow Buzzcast by clicking the link in the description or go to buzzcast.buzzsprout.com and keep podcasting.
Right. Yes. No, absolutely. I love that you touched on the fact that it could be a newer pin, because that's very much the case, especially when you're first adding the content into Pinterest and then into tribes as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Tailwind also has the Smart Loop feature. And this, I feel like, is relatively in the last 6 months has been pushed out, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It's been in the works for a very long time. We've worked with Pinterest to build it, but it just had its public launch within the past few months.
So, best way of using Smart Loop. What would you kind of walk me through it, I guess?
So I personally think the absolute best thing, at least in my mind, is the seasonal loops. So making sure that you are starting to pin your holiday content in like August. Sounds crazy, but trends start super early on Pinterest. So while you may not be thinking about a Christmas tree when it's 100 degrees outside and you're by the pool, Pinterest is. Pinterest wants to see that content put on there. And so in my mind, that's a really, really valuable tool within Smart Loop. So you can set it up so that every year your incredible Christmas content will be pinned to your relevant boards at the right time so that it can start gaining traction when those interests start to spike on Pinterest. And within the tool, you can find a PDF from Pinterest that shows when all of those interests spike, and it's so, so valuable. So no matter what the season is, you can look and see when it starts, when you should start pinning, and set up your Smart Loop that way. Now for evergreen content, for the content that you just want to make sure you're getting eyeballs on regularly, we help you manage that in a way that is not seen as spammy by Pinterest, but is also still helping you gain that traction. Especially if you start to use different pin images. They've really been pushing that lately. So if you have an incredible pin that does super well, make 5 different versions of that pin and add it to your Smart Loop and let it drip out to those relevant boards. That's another really important thing. Make sure the boards are relevant. And so when people land on your boards, they're not seeing the exact same pin over and over and over again. It needs to be a mix, and you need to have it look good, have it look like something that someone would want to browse. So that's how we're helping with the evergreen content with Smart Loop as well.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and I like the way that you talked about not having it all on the same board and being right there. Because I think one of the things that I notice when I go into Pinterest, of course, is if I'm looking at profiles, I notice pins they've been pinning. And you can always tell the people that are just, it's straight, always the same pin going out over a certain amount of time. And that's all you see in the background of their profile. So actually having it set up like that. Now, is it something where you can set it up to have an interval to kind of like drip out over time, or something where you can turn it on and off? Like I guess start with the seasonal content as far as turning it on and off. You said August. So then it's something that I can turn off once Christmas is over.
We will do that for you. So you can set up the schedule. Like I want it to start pinning August 1st, and I want it to stop pinning December 24th. So we will do that automatically for you. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to jump onto Pinterest or onto Tailwind on Christmas night and make sure that's turned off. We do that for you.
Okay. That is great. Now, as far as the, when you're doing the evergreen content, when you go to set up Smart Loop, is it something where you have to space it out over like an interval setting or something like that? Or is it all part of the feature?
It's all part of the feature. So we will make sure that you are following Pinterest best practice. We built this tool with Pinterest. They have helped us implement the new best practices as they come out. So you don't have to worry about breaking any rules or getting flagged as spam because of using Tailwind, because we are paying attention to those best practices. So while some people may want to pin the same pin, 4 times within a month, we will help you make sure that that doesn't happen within your loop, and pay attention to that and make sure you're following those best practices and keeping in line with what Pinterest suggests. So with evergreen content, we will help you set up how many times that pin will go to the different boards within a certain time frame. Most of the ones that I set up are like, you'll go through all of the pins to the different boards within 8 months. So I won't have a repeating pin to that same board within 8 months. It'll be the same pin going to different boards, which is fine, but same pin, same board, not happening for a while.
Okay. No, that makes total sense. So, you also have within Tailwind a feature where you're not talking, but you are using Instagram. You're able to actually schedule with Tailwind to Instagram. You also have a feature to be able to push it so that it's not something where we actually have to manually do. It's something that you can actually push through to Instagram for us as well. Is that right?
So it's the other way around. So we have an Instagram scheduling tool, which is awesome. We can auto post to Instagram for you. We help with story scheduling. We have amazing hashtag research. So many amazing things on the Instagram side. But if you want to share your Instagram post to Pinterest, you can do that automatically. You can also share it to a Facebook page, which is super helpful with the Facebook optimized caption. So while Instagram has the 30 hashtags, Facebook doesn't, you can change that within the actual post so that you have, killing two birds with one stone. You can have your Instagram post go out, and then you can have your Facebook optimized post go out, as well as a Pinterest pin to a board. So I've seen it be really helpful for Etsy sellers because they use Instagram a lot to promote their content. So as they're posting about a new piece of jewelry they just made, they can go ahead and add that same image to their Pinterest account and get that exposure to both Instagram and Pinterest at the same time.
Okay. I wasn't realizing that you could also do it to Facebook and Pinterest and like that. I didn't realize that feature was even available. Okay, good. And I need to clearly go dig into this. I love this. That's what I think happened last time when I was doing an interview with you. You ended up saying to me, oh no, you can just drop it into a list. And I was like, wait, how do you do that? Show me that. I want to do that right now. That's perfect. So then I guess my next question becomes video, because we're seeing more and more video. You mentioned stories, which I am a huge fan of. Constantly using them. My audience knows that I'm constantly talking about them. How does that work as far as if you were to do a video for stories, can it also then push to Pinterest and Facebook that way into Facebook stories as well?
So we don't have that yet. That would be really cool. You can auto-publish videos to Instagram. So like within the feed, rather than a story, you can auto-publish those. That just came out last week. So it's a very, very new feature that we have. And stories are not auto-posts, so you will get a push notification for it. But that still helps you maintain that consistency on Instagram. Make sure you're getting out and talking to your audience regularly. I know it's like Tailwind's a crazy busy place. If I didn't have a reminder to do things, nothing would ever get done outside of my work computer. So that's super helpful, even just to get those reminders to post.
Yes, no, absolutely. Because I know I have clients that will manually set alarms for themselves to remember to post to Instagram stories so that that consistently. So the fact that Tailwind is actually sending that notification is perfect. So now another question that recently came up actually inside my membership site was people are wanting to grow YouTube. And we're seeing that the YouTube videos are doing really well on Pinterest when you create a pinnable image, but it's also part of the video.
Right.
Is that something where you can also schedule that into Tailwind?
So if you create the pinnable image and just change the link or add the link, you can absolutely do that. You can add it to your Smart Loop. You can add it to Tribes. You can post it wherever through Tailwind. But if it's a video rather than a pinnable image, we don't have that capability yet. We are exploring how to do that because Pinterest has been very into video lately. Everyone's going towards video. And so that's something that we are aware of and that we're working on and that we are thinking about, but we don't have an exact plan or timeline for having video scheduled through on the Pinterest side yet.
Okay. That's great though, that you guys are, you're hearing the whispers as well as all of us. That is definitely the route that we see that it's picking up. The videos are doing well and they're actually creating now like the video image with like an overlay so that the video will start playing in Pinterest, but they can still kind of almost look like a pinnable. And then being able to click through to go to YouTube, or if it's embedded within their blog, whatever it might be. So, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. No, that's awesome. So now I feel like those are the main kind of features of Tailwind. Am I missing anything when we're talking Tailwind as far as features of ways to push out content?
Okay, so on the Pinterest side, we've talked about Smart Loop, talked about tribes. So I mentioned on the Instagram side that we have Facebook optimized scheduling. We also have that on the Pinterest side. So as you're scheduling out your Pinterest content, you can click on the send to a Facebook page, and the blog post has a optimized image for Facebook, we will grab that image, and then you can create a caption for the Facebook page. So you can schedule a pin and a Facebook optimized post for both while you're on Tailwind. So that's a pretty new feature too.
So you can, wait. Take me back to that, because I'm understanding it, and I'm kind of blown away, because now you're not just becoming about Pinterest, you're becoming all of it for us. It kind of being able to cross promote everything. And I think that's with Facebook, the way that things have become with the algorithm, people aren't seeing as much traction. So the last time that they have to spend kind of scheduling stuff separate, and I think for so long we were all just using the schedule on Facebook because we didn't want to, I'm trying to watch the words that I use so that I don't use that word. But for Facebook to not upset them, let's just say, to be able to use it that way now. Okay, so for Pinterest, we go in Tailwind, we use the pinnable image from our websites to go to Pinterest. But then you're saying that if I have let's say I have a plugin that I've loaded a Facebook image into, it'll pull that Facebook image and I can change my caption.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. And it'll include the link, it'll include the image. So yeah, that's really where this sort of sprouted from. We thought people, they had different tools, but of course we are a Pinterest and Instagram first product right now. But we wanted to help supplement that scheduling, because it still is important for many people to maintain a presence on Facebook. But just scheduling or posting a pin to your Facebook page doesn't make a lot of sense. It's leading to Pinterest. So this way you are able to do this while you're getting your Pinterest schedule set up. You can just click on the post to a Facebook page, create your caption, get that correct image in there. It'll have a link directly to the blog post rather than to the pin. So it is saving time and still helping our members be consistent on Pinterest and Facebook.
Okay. One of the other questions that I had was about using the Instagram image to Pinterest instead of it being a pinnable. So like in my mind, I think pinnable, 600 by 900, right?
Right.
Instagram, I'm thinking more square. So is that something that you all are doing, is using Tailwind to be able to use that Instagram image to go to Pinterest, or you're just using the pinnables?
It's the Instagram image. So pretty recently, within the past year at least, Pinterest allowed people to claim their website through Instagram, through Etsy, I think through Shopify. There were a few different ways that you could claim your website, so you could start using ads and start using some of the business features that they offer. And so with the Instagram, being able to claim your Instagram account, that's when we started offering that feature. Because, if you're claiming your Instagram account on Pinterest, then obviously it's important that your Instagram account is being shared to Pinterest. So that's sort of where that came from. It's not perfect for everyone. It's not going to be a solution for everyone, especially if you want to maintain those pinnable images. The traditionally printable images is 600 by 900. But it is an option that we offer for those that have their Instagram account claimed, or that just want to cross-promote in that way.
Okay. So the reason I asked that question, and I was kind of going around the corner trying to ask it, is because when I was at, I spoke at International Food Bloggers Conference, and Pinterest was there, one of the representatives, and he was very straightforward about 600 by 900, no more collages, and it was, okay, we hear you. And then he said about Instagram being posted to Pinterest, and I kind of sat back and I was like, wait, he just said. So it does sound like they're trying to almost incorporate Instagram that way more, by letting that ability to be able to come across. And I'm wondering if it has something to do with the fact that a lot of Instagram influencers aren't necessarily having blogs now. Mm-hmm. They're just doing their Instagram. And also being able to cross promote, which is great because then you get more eyes on your Instagram coming from Pinterest as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can speculate all day on their reasoning, but I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. No, absolutely. Oh my goodness. So I've always loved Tailwind. I think it's one of the things people will always ask me, what do you use for scheduling? And I've always said, well, for Pinterest, I use Tailwind. But now knowing that it does Facebook, you can do Instagram with it. It just becomes the thing that everybody can go to make it just their lives easier instead of having to go in multiple different places to do it. So I love it.
That's our hope. Yeah.
Yes. No, absolutely. Melissa, I just thank you so very much. What are the best places? We're going to link to, if you're not signed up with Tailwind, you need to be. So we're going to link to that obviously in the show notes. But also, what are the best places to follow Tailwind?
So pretty much everywhere on Instagram, just on Instagram and Twitter, we are at Tailwind App. Okay. That's our website as well, tailwindapp.com. And then Facebook and Pinterest are actually /Tailwind. So pretty much if you type Tailwind in, you'll be able to find us.
Yes, absolutely. You guys are always sharing. I love the content that you all share. I'm always repinning from you. I feel like, especially when it comes to like blogger tools and blogger tips, that you just have, and I kind of watch to see what you're pinning to get ideas for images.
Yeah, my marketing team is absolutely incredible. I work with some very, very talented people. I can't take credit for that stuff. I'm mostly just talking to our members and doing things like this. But yeah, our content's so good.
Yes, no, it truly is. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Always happy to jump on and talk.
Very good. All right. I told you tons of information that I wasn't even aware of. So if you are not a part of Tailwind yet, you're not using their platform in order to schedule your pins, cross-promote them, use them on Instagram, you're going to want to make sure that you sign up with them. Click over to the show notes. We will have it linked there so that you can just easily click over. And also, as you heard, make sure that you are following them on Pinterest because they're always pinning the best images. I cannot speak highly enough of their images on Pinterest. You guys, I appreciate you all so much. I'd love to see how you are listening to the podcast. Grab a screenshot and tag me on Instagram at Jenny_Melrose and give me that aha moment. What was something that you didn't know existed on Tailwind? Or just tell me that you're going to be signing up for it if you are already not a member. You guys, whenever you leave a review on iTunes, it helps me so much. So if you haven't already done that, I would so greatly appreciate it if you took a couple seconds to leave a review. All right, guys, until next time, I will see you all then.